Hey, it's Sam with Just Grill and Outdoor Living. Today, we're going to be making bistro-style chicken sandwiches, and we're going to use the Memphis Pro Pellet Grill to help us. This is a recipe that you could do for lunch or dinner, and it's really not going to take that much time. Normally I'll turn the grill on first and let that preheat while I'm doing my prep work, but the chicken is going to marinate for at least a half hour, so we're going to do that first before we turn the grill on. For this recipe, we're not only marinating chicken, we're also going to be marinating some shallots that we're going to use in the sandwich. To make the marinade, it's very basic ingredients: a coarse grained mustard, olive oil, salt and pepper, and fresh garlic. But rather than using salt and pepper individually, I'm going to use a garlic pepper seasoning that's going to combine the salt and pepper and also have a little more garlic in it, and that's just going to help. But because that seasoning has garlic in it, I'm not going to use as much minced garlic. The only prep work involved for making the marinade is mincing up the fresh garlic. The recipe calls for 2 cloves of garlic. You're welcome to use more if you like garlic or if you're cooking for more people. Just remember, we are using a garlic pepper seasoning. I'm going to combine all the ingredients in a bowl. I have the garlic ready, so next up is measuring out the coarse grained mustard. We're going to use 1/4 of a cup plus 3 tablespoons. Next is the olive oil. We'll need roughly 1/2 cup. And lastly, it's time to measure out the garlic pepper seasoning. We'll use 2 teaspoons, and now we're ready to mix everything together. Before we toss the chicken in the marinade, we need to get it ready. So we're going to turn these chicken breasts into chicken cutlets. Turning a breast into a cutlet is pretty easy. We'll rinse them off, pat the breasts dry, and then trim them up to get rid of the tendons that are left on there. To get a nice clean cut for the cutlet, I start with a horizontal cut across the side and then rotate the breast and pick it up vertically to work my way from top to bottom. I'm holding it up here at the top and pinching it to get a better grip and avoid having my hand anywhere near the knife as it works its way down through the breast. Our chicken is into cutlets now. The recipe only calls for 2 cutlets, so I'm just going to take the 2 best that I have here on the cutting board. But we also have to get our shallots ready. So all we need to do is take the outside layer off. I'm going to cut off the little bit of tail right here, rinse them off, and then we're going to coat them in the marinade. Alright, so we've got the cutlets and the shallots all tossed and coated in the marinade. So we're going to have to put them in the fridge for at least a half hour, no more than 6. Make sure you have it covered when you put it in there. While that's happening, let's get the grill fired up. We're going to set this Memphis Pro Pellet Grill to 450 degrees. While we wait, we'll get a few other items prepared. The recipe calls for a baguette, but I'm going to use a rustic French bread that I'm going to warm up in the oven. Basically, what you're looking for is a crunchy outside and soft inside. I've had this bread for a couple days, so it's a little harder than I like it. So to fix that, I'm going to warm it up in the oven. I'll wrap a small damp towel around the bread to help it get to the right consistency. If your bread feels good, you don't have to do this step. I'm just going to have the oven on a low setting of 175 degrees. The recipe calls for fresh sliced cheddar cheese to top the chicken with when grilling. If you prefer another cheese, you're welcome to use it. I really think it's just personal preference. The cheddar cheese I used had been sitting in my fridge for a while, which was an Australian cheese. It did not slice very well, but it's going to melt on, so it's not really that big of a deal. We also need to make our condiment spread for the sandwich. We're going to use the same coarse grained mustard that we used in the marinade, creme fraiche, and fresh chopped dill. We only need 3 tablespoons of the creme fraiche. I would be conservative with the mustard. It has a very bold flavor, so I would add 1/2 tablespoon at a time and then mix it up and taste test to find out what you like best. You can add in the chopped dill at any point in time. We're going to grill the chicken and shallots at 450 degrees. We've wiped most of the marinade off the chicken. We're going to leave it on the shallots because we're going to peel the skin off when it comes time to put them on the sandwiches. We're looking for the chicken to reach 165 degrees internally before we pull it from the grill. When the chicken gets to around 150 degrees, go ahead and put the sliced cheddar cheese on top of the chicken so it melts nicely. You'll know when the shallots are ready. They'll start blackening on the outside and be soft to the touch with your tongs. Our chicken's ready and so are the shallots, so we're going to pull them from the grill and take them over to the cutting board. For the shallots, we're going to peel and discard the outside layer before slicing it up. The chicken will slice up as well so it fits nicely in the sandwich. With everything ready to go to top the sandwich, let's pull our bread from the oven and slice it up. We're going to use a bread knife to cut it in half and then cut each half horizontally across the middle. With the bread sliced, we'll start by layering our condiment topping on each side of the bread. And then all we need to do is add our chicken and shallots. The last thing we did was add a pickle, so it's time to dig in. It's kind of chewy bread. This is really good though. It's got a lot of great flavors in there. You can taste the nice cheddar cheese. You got a little bit of the tang from the mustard. This is a really, really, really good sandwich. If you have questions on how to make it, leave them in the comments below or come see us in our showroom to speak with one of our grilling experts. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more great content like this. Thanks for watching and be on the lookout for our next video.